Who is screeching? It's got to be Greg.
That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to get that.
Drake came in screeching. All right.
We love it. Coming in hot.
What's up, guys? How you doing? Someone's going collard green, ginger, garlic.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Corn and pumpkins for Halloween. Madison, is that Madison, Alabama? AI, what's AI? I'm not American. I know these things.
AI?
I heard. I'm in a podcast.
Alabama. It's Alabama. That's what it is. They in Madison, Alabama.
Mm-hmm. Bag. Are you on here, Greg? You ready?
I'm here now.
All right, you're here now. So welcome to episode 19 of the Durham Gardening Podcast with me, Andre the Farmer. We've got Urban Gardening with Grant and the Chocolate Botanist. So what's going on, guys? What's new in your lives?
Had some fun this weekend. What did I do? I did something with the kids. I can't even remember what it was. It's the life of a dad, right? I can't even remember. We did something. It was fun.
It was fun, though. It was fun. All right, Derek, what's going on with you, brother?
That is a very good question. You know, the world, life, growing plants, doing things I'm doing, sitting on my patio early today, chilling, maxing and relaxing, and, just planning for the fall season, trying to get some fall flower ideas growing up.
I got you. Well, I am in a bit of a war with.
That's a very good question. You know, the world, life,
anytime I post a video that has
sitting on my patio early today,
cooking, there's going to be a war. So I made a video about the viral thing where you put the egg and you put the mayonnaise and you beat it and you put it in the microwave. And apparently it's supposed to be the greatest omelet in the world. And I'll tell you what, for an omelet with only 3 things in it, like butter, egg, and mayonnaise, it's actually really, really good. It's surprisingly good. But people don't understand the concept of following a viral recipe to see if it's good. Because everyone is like, oh, you should put this in it. Oh, you should do this instead. Or you need to cook it with this. Or you should do it in an air fryer. Or you need to do it in a pan. I'm like, no, the whole point of it was to try the thing to see if the thing actually works.
Yeah.
It's difficult for people. And I've got the whole microwaves will kill you crowd. I've got mayonnaise, got all kind of bad stuff in it for you crowd. You shouldn't be eating eggs. It's insane. It's insane.
But when it comes to food, people feel a very strong energy towards it. I remember when I decided to go vegetarian, right? I did the cardinal sin. I went to my mechanic shop and I called all my mechanic buddies. I'm becoming a vegetarian. And they got so mad at me. Like, I told them basically, I'm not taking my ribs away. I'm like, I'm not taking your ribs away. This is how I eat. But yeah, food is a touchy subject,
Yeah, and then I did the ginger video, and someone was like, thanks for not showing us how to grow ginger. You only showed us how to harvest ginger, fool. And they literally called me a fool in the comments.
There's no reason in that. If you can't say anything nice, just don't say anything. Whatever happened to that? That's what my grandmother taught me.
You know what?
I don't have a ginger disposition.
I'm not a full subscriber to that either, okay? Like, I'm fine with you correcting people or saying things that aren't nice. But you at least need to be on the right side of things. And be respectful with it.
Respect matters. What'd you say, Derek?
They don't know how to do that. They just want to be not have a peachy disposition and not be ginger in their talkings. That's it. But I think with a lot of it, us being as knowledgeable as we are and knowing that we have room to grow, I think we just have to remember there are some people who have literally interwoven these missteps into their worldview. So they just get pissy when we say something that they don't believe in, and they don't remember or acknowledge that ginger video that you showed harvesting was probably a minute of footage. You can't show what you did for a full year in a minute of footage. You can't. Like, you would have to have a whole YouTube video on that, and then they just want it in front of them easy. Like, calm down.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, 99% of the followers are amazing people, respectful, great input. It's just that 1% that just, it doesn't really bother me. It just makes me want to enact justice. It makes me want to.
I understand that.
Justice for Andre.
Can I do a GoFundMe off of this? I don't know.
I think you could.
But anyways, guys, I think we wanted to talk today about fertilizers. The last time someone had a question about fertilizers, and we didn't get through it completely because we said we were going to save that for the next show. So today we're going to focus on fertilizers. Again, we're going to talk about organic fertilizers, inorganic fertilizers, synthetic fertilizers, natural, alternative fertilizers, pretty much everything. So if you have questions about fertilizers, guys, leave them in the comments. We have Gray's a master gardener, and Derek is a educated botanist, like a botany degree. He's a legit scientist right here. So we have two of the best people in the world to teach you about fertilizers. So
We have three of the best people because Andre has several houses. Y'all know he has 1,000 acres. And on all that acreage is fruit growing to its best potential. So he knows the stuff as well.
I can show you how to drop it on the ground. I can show you how. If you want to understand it, you got to listen to these guys. Yeah. Oh, here's a question right there. Can you over-fertilize?
Well, before we jump into that question, I wanted to start off with this. We'll definitely ask your questions as we are going because we're going to be talking about what fertilizer is. I think we have to start off with a basic thing of what is fertilizer, right? When it comes to what is fertilizer, fertilizer is basically just food for your plants. That's a simple way to put it, but it is literally food that can be broken down into its base ionic component, ion, the basic building block that your plants can then use to build itself. It's like if you get a Lego set, right? Oh, y'all two like Legos, right? Y'all do the Legos? I feel like Andre has a secret Lego cave. He doesn't want us to know. He goes to the Lego day in Florida, and I know he does.
My son likes Lego. My oldest son, he has some Legos in his room.
I know he do. You sneak in there at night and you be checking his Legos. I know you do. When you take those Legos and you put together like a Death Star, the flowers, or anything like that, that is something that's beautiful. But what the plants want is just that individual Lego brick, right? So once you know that, and we want it to be something that is, again, in a place that was either by decomposition, some type of breaking down in order to be available to plants, then all is going to be well, right? So I know we had a question from our dear Sonia's Bug Spray, and we're going to give her a quick shout out about her product. Andre and Gray are only here in front of you because of Sonia's Bug Spray. They have never been attacked by a gorilla or a grizzly, right? Or a series of bats, a vampire, a werewolf. Look at them. Safe and healthy because of this. Now, this product is all natural, and it will definitely prevent the insects from bugging you. You don't want to be bugged by them. So make sure you get you something today. It's an after bite. You can put it on your bites if you have been bitten. And these two love it. Can y'all tell us about it real quick?
I love it. It goes on like butter. I mean, honestly, and it smells great. I mean, I've been married, 13 years now.
I'll tell you what, this is a true story. It's going to sound like a fake story. It's a true story. Lanita was at my house today.
Oh, Lanita was there?
Yes. Okay. We were in the backyard. We made little native beehives out of the bed. We were walking through by the flower bed, and I walked past, and she goes, "What was that smell? Something smelled good around here. Something smelled really, really good." It just was like, and she couldn't figure out what it was. And I was like, it might have been the bug spray. It might have been spraying the bug spray. And then when we got back to the patio, she smelled me. She was like, "Yeah, that was the smell." Like literally, it was the bug spray she smelled. Like it smells so good and feels so good, you won't even believe that it's bugs. Like you won't think that it will work on bugs because it just smells too good.
Yeah, for real. Now, this question that we had, I understand. Okay, someone asked, I can't see the comments anymore, but the question was about fertilizer, right?
Can you over fertilize?
They can. Derek did ask that.
Fantastic question. Because, and Derek, are you still with us? Looks like it's time and free from on my end. Can you see him?
Yeah, he's with us. He's with us still.
Okay, all right. So this is a fantastic question. And being a master expert, I just want to say, I don't know every single plant. I do a lot of research. I use my ag extension. And one of the things we talked about in Master Gardener class is that over-fertilizing definitely is a good thing. And it can not only hurt your garden, but it's also hurting your local ecosystem as well as your local watersheds as well. Because what you have to realize, when you're creating a garden, you are creating a part of an ecosystem. And by over-fertilizing, you can essentially cause detrimental effects to your watershed. Like, Andre, don't you have water as well?
We do. We have a lake back there. Now, one of the problems with the over-fertilizing too is we get a thing that's called red tide sometimes in the ocean. And you get too much fertilizer in the water and the algae blooms and all of a sudden all the fish die. They suck all the oxygen out and the fish die. So it's environmentally can be very bad. And for your plants, it's kind of an OD on any medication or any vitamin or anything like that. If you take too much of anything, you're gonna have problems. The same with plants.
Yeah,
exactly.
So that eutrophication, that's what it's called in a body part. Eutrophication, so much nitrogen, it feeds all those algae blooms, and they suck all of the oxygen from the water, killing all of the fauna inside of it. But like you said, when it comes to our plants, if you're one of those like, drop it. I got excited. So if you're one of those folks say, you know what, I only care about garden, it can hurt your plants because if you have, for instance, too much, let's say too much phosphorus in your garden, right? You're going to get more is better. You add too much phosphorus in your garden, then you're going to start getting disease symptoms in your plants. You're going to get a lack of zinc in your plant. And you're thinking, well, how? I just need to add some more zinc to it. That'll make it better. No, because you added so much phosphorus to your plant can no longer take up zinc. It's affecting the plant's ability to be able to pick up this nutrient.
Yes.
So, a little goes a long way. What about you? What's your thought?
So that's called fertilizer antagonism, what he's talking about. I mean, you put in too much. I reference it like this. When I go to a party or an event, I don't know about y'all, I will always be like, who all going to be there? Because if certain people are going to be there, then you will not see me, right? And it's going to be that same way for your different nutrients. Too much can be a terrible thing. So Sonia added in a thing which gave me an oh no in my spirit, which was, is there a way to fix it because my plant is in a pot? So I feel like if you hypothetically speaking, Sonia, if you were to over fertilize, any of you were to put so much fertilizer into your potted plants, right? The way to fix it is just by a lot of water. You have to really do a lot of rinsing. Now, if it's something that's not like water soluble, it doesn't move with water, like silicone, then you may have to just like repot that plant. But if it's something like nitrogen, it can be very mobile, that can just be like pushed out, then you would just rinse. Now, if it's your yard, again, we got to kind of do some other stuff. We got to do some soil testing, take some soil out, maybe move it somewhere, do something else outside of just hoping for a torrential downpour.
Now, my understanding too is that like if you have too much nitrogen, for example, then a lot of times your plants will be resistant to fruiting because you're just going to be growing a lot of leaves. And that can also be a calling card for a lot of pests to sort of come because your plants are just over nitrogen.
Yeah. Because I mean, the plant, the insect, the pest that so many people ask us about, that's like a red flag. You have so much nitrogen in your soil, and you have all that foliage, it's like bringing in a dinner bell for them. So they're like, oh yeah, hornworm, come on, armyworm, come on, you know.
And someone asked, what are the symptoms of over-fertilization? What are you looking for in your plants?
Oh, it could be anything. You could have leaf drop. Your plants could go through yellowing called chlorosis. You could have a tissue called necrosis, right? You could have yellowing in the veins, right? So this is your leaf, and this is the vein of the leaf. You could have yellowing here. You could have yellowing on the edges. So this is going to be my leaf now. This is my leaf. There's yellowing all on those edges. There are so many different things that you can see depending on what nutrient it is. But excess and deficiency sometimes show up as the same kinds of, the same coin, right? That's just been my experience. What says you, Grace?
Well, I'm actually thumbing through my reference material because
I-
again,
I
I don't
love
know everything. And sometimes I need to go through my reference material. So a lot of the time, I will pick up my handy dandy Master Gardener handbook, and I will go through the page that's specifically talking about common diseases, and I'll look for the symptoms that's in my reference material here. And I start looking for those common symptoms because I mean. There's only so much that I can fit in this. I always know where to go to get my answers.
So someone asked, can you overdose with homemade compost? Like when you make compost, can you overdose your plants with fully cured compost?
Fully cured compost, I want to say no. Like I've seen some people grow in full compost before in beds. And it just, I'll say you not nutrient wise. Now be careful with compost. So there are some people who are getting plants that have been treated with like a pesticide or an herbicide into that compost, and it may be cured on like the use of being used level, but it's not like they may still be hot with that herbicide or the pesticide. So then you grow with it, and then your plants look like, and you're like, I didn't do anything. It just looks like they've been sprayed. But outside of that, no, you can't OD with that. But compost is not a fertilizer. And before you all try to burn my house down, I'm ready for you. Compost is not a fertilizer, so you don't have to worry about that. What says you, Gray?
Well, I'm gonna disagree with you. Compost is a fertilizer, but I agree with the fact that no one can't really you can't OD because compost. As far as compost goes, it has a very slow release. I'm all about the slow release. Like Teddy Pendergrass, like I want to take it slow. Usher said, I want to take it nice and slow.
That's what he said.
We're talking about like 0.5 on like your nitrogen level. You're talking about 0.5 on your potassium phosphorus, and it's working super slow. So it's working about the entire season, not just one weekend. So it would be really hard to OD if we're going that slow. You know?
Can I tell a quick red tide story?
Yes.
All right. So we talked earlier about if you get too much fertilizer and the runoff, it goes into the water, into the lakes. There was a time when I was fishing. I do a lot of fishing. We were offshore. We were probably 100 miles offshore, and the red tide was all the way out there. And we got into an area where you could just smell dead fish. We're talking we're 150 feet of water. We're talking whatever, but the layer of red tide on the ocean was enough to kill everything down to the bottom. All you saw was just fish floating all over the surface. We tried to drive out of the red tide, and we drove for probably 40 minutes, and we were still in it. And you could just smell dead fish everywhere. Like the red tide, when that starts to happen, it is a real serious problem. And the amount of fish killed is more than you could possibly imagine it happening.
Terrible time.
It's totally bad.
That's tragic from a fishing standpoint. I'm an animal guy. I have to go aquarium. I'm a fishing place. Don't you think all the fish got lost life because unfortunately that industrial or agricultural runoff, so forth.
Yeah.
Because now with that being said, if there's any farmers here, I'm picking on you because farmers get blamed for a lot of the agricultural runoff. But I want you to think about something. I have no statistics to back this, but I'm going to say that ever since COVID, a lot more folks are gardening now. So a lot of times we blame farmers for the agricultural runoff. A lot more of the United States specifically is doing a lot more gardening, so they can also be that agricultural runoff as well.
So try not to contribute. Right? Try not to over-fertilize. So someone asked a question a couple times here. They said, can you eat from a plant that has mildew on it?
If the plant has mildew but the fruit does not, yes. If the fruit has mildew, then you don't eat it. You know, and I know there's some people. So I got a quick story. I grew up back on the eastern part of North Carolina, and there was a man called Mr. Dave that my aunt would take me to see when I was in elementary school. We would sit and hang out with him until my uncle would get home. Mr. Dave one time was trying to fix us some sausages, sausage. And my aunt Elena went to him and was like, Dave, these sausages have mold on them. I can't give these to school. He said, no, it's okay. You just cut the mold off. I do that all the time. Right now, Mr. Dave was very old. I don't know what he passed from, but he was a very old man when I was 5. So I don't remember when he passed, but I know he ain't here no more. But I would say, don't be like Mr. Dave and don't eat no mildewy stuff, please.
Yeah.
But one thing that you have,
With that mildew, you can see the mildew spores when it makes a colony, right? But you don't see the rest of those spores throughout the whole entire thing. So if you're seeing that big clump of it, yeah, that's a lot of them in one spot, but they may be over that whole entire fruit. It's like bread, right? So with the bread, you've all seen molten bread before, but I'll just go deeper in the loaf, and I get some that's not molten. Well, if it's stiff already, those colonies are already there. It's already molten. So you're eating molten.
yeah, it's kind of like an iceberg. Like you're just going to see the tip, but there's a lot more underneath that you're not going to see. Yeah, so mold you have to be a little bit careful with, and I'm guilty of that. I've a piece of cheese and just cut off some of this bad part here and work with what we got. So yeah, the mycelium that definitely can penetrate deeper into the fruit. So you probably want to stay away from that. But there were a bunch of questions that we kind of missed here. Let's see. Coffee grounds, your favorite, Derek. Your favorite. Someone asked about coffee grounds.
It's funny. I actually just had some I was processing to make some bokashi. What was the question about using them for fertilizer? Because when I left and came back,
it was just
Couldn't see
basically
the
like,
question
can
anymore.
coffee grounds be used for fertilizer?
I mean, they could be used for compost, but not fertilizer. They don't have a high nitrogen content. And I know a lot of people will again want to fight me because I'm like, they don't do this and they don't change the pH, but they don't. Now, if you go to your favorite coffee, your coffee shop, and you get a bunch of them, again, you can use it as a soil humus. You can use it for your compost because the nitrogen that it does have can help to feed the microbes in that. You can use it for vermicomposting to a certain extent, but it's not going to really do anything. It may keep some pests away. That's a big may, but don't bury or put all your eggs in one basket for no coffee grounds as fertilizer.
With that being said, doesn't it, when we're talking about coffee being fertilizer, it goes back to that whole concept of eating readily available. And once that composition starts, you don't get that available nutrient from that calcium until 3 to 4 months later after it comes in, right?
Yeah, for the nitrogen. So it would be for the nitrogen. It would be quicker for the coffee grounds because they are. So it's amazing. I didn't plan on talking about this, but I have some that I've been drying out. So I'll put them in an old pressure cooker, sanitize them down, and then dry them out before I use it for other stuff. So this is like a bunch of old coffee grounds here, right? And they're already through a decomposition process because they were used to make somebody's coffee. Again, it looks craggly and crazy like this because this is just how my secret process of secrets makes it happen. You're not going to find out my secrets, but with that, the decomp of the microbes would literally go and get that nitrogen first. So it wouldn't really benefit your plants. It would benefit them by helping the soil population, but not directly benefiting your plants.
Okay. And as for it lowering the pH of your soil?
That is a no. It doesn't do that. We give so many things jobs, and they don't have those jobs. Stop putting that on their resume. Stop it.
Someone asked the best fertilizer for collard greens. What would you recommend for collards?
What would you recommend, Greg?
I would say look for something that's a fertilizer breakdown that's maybe 3 months or any multiple data set. So we want to be higher on the nitrogen side, lower on the phosphorus side, and then a little bit mid-grade on the potassium.
All right. I think that we need to talk a little bit about. Well, let's answer one more question, and then there's a subject I want to talk about. Calcium.
Yeah, this is what I use for all of my plants. I use a bunch of fertilizers, but this is one that I really love. It's a 433, very low pH, but it's amazing and it has mycorrhizal on it, so it's beautiful. That's all I had to say. Go ahead.
Okay. There are two questions here. So one is about what's the best way to add calcium to tomatoes?
Calcium would go with calcium sulfate.
Okay. Are there any other sources that you could think of to get calcium into your tomatoes?
We're definitely not going to talk about eggshells.
Well, if you bake them, powder them.
Yes, if you go through Gary's method of making calcium from eggshells, Gary, can you please explain to the folks?
Show them how you're going to use eggshells.
I wish I had already powdered this. So you take these eggshells that you've already sanitized. You have to sanitize them because you don't want salmonella on your stuff. And for those on YouTube, I'm sorry we're still having sound issues. I am really sorry about that. Once you powder them, you mix them with some white vinegar. These are basic. Eggshells are basic. It's calcium bicarbonate, right? Vinegar, acetic acid is an acid. When you take acid and a base and you mix them together, you get a chemical reaction, right? Now, this is not bubbling too much. It actually is a little bit of bubbles, but it's not like heavy foaming. You can see a couple of bubbles in here. It's probably not coming through right on the, yeah, it's probably not coming through as good as I would like it to, but you can see some bubbles coming off of this. But that chemical reaction is going to release the carbon dioxide out and now leave you with the calcium solution. So you could do that. And those of you who want like the full recipe, I can send you the PDF from the Hawaii Cooperative Extension. But the best thing that I would tell anybody for calcium is to just go, if you can afford it, to your garden centers, big box stores, and get you the spray already put together, and you could be good. If you need it immediately, right then, because eggshells take at minimum a year, at maximum a decade for them to break down within your garden.
All right, that's good to know.
Yeah, somebody asked that recently when they were asking about their house plant. They said, "Great, how do you feel about adding eggshells in your plants?" I was like, "I really don't do." Because they don't really need that much calcium. Most of our ornamentals really are going to be looking more for the phosphorus. Going to be looking more for the nitrogen. I was like, when it comes to my garden, I will use eggshells for soil structure. That's what I use my eggshells for. So I'm mixing it into my compost. I don't care if it takes 10 years to break down because I'm adding more structure to my soil. I'm building up an ecosystem so that I'm creating more drainage, so forth. So that's really why I'm using my eggshells in my compost in my soil.
Okay, that's great. So Caleb is asking, currently I'm trying to add as much organics to the soil and using a tiller to work them in gently. I'm considering biochar. Is it worth the hype? I've used biochar before. You know, it's really hard when you're doing all the things you're supposed to be doing in your garden. It's hard to know which one of the things is the things that's doing the most. You know, unless you have a one garden where you only put biochar, and one garden where you only do this. But if you're doing a combination of things, it's hard to really tell. But from everything that I've heard and experienced with biochar, it seems to be worth the hype. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, biochar, I actually have a bag right here. Grab it.
Well, he's grabbing that. Biochar, for those of you who don't know, is like wood that's been cooked down through pyrolysis, I think it is. Some cardboard source, some wood source, and it basically like makes it into like almost like charcoal, but not really.
And with that being said, yes, you can use diesel, and there is. Now, guys, y'all know I'm gonna mess up some words. So what's on this in there? I'm not saying that.
Mycorrhizal.
Thank you. Because I'm not trying to sound intelligent, but you know, my Louisiana kicks in sometimes. I won't say word right. But with that being said, I mean, biochar, let's see if we can get it to shine here. You have that fungus in there, And I actually add this a lot to bring it to both.
Uh-huh.
I add this a lot to my ornamental plants. But honestly, if you're talking about tilling up the soil and you're putting this in your soil, it's going to be very expensive. I don't know how it would recommend it. I mean, you have the disposable income, or you can try making some cardboard of your own. I would just be cautious because when you're adding cardboard briquettes, not briquettes, but like cardboard you made in like fire pit, if you made like wood ash, stuff like that, you can add that in your soil, but be cautious because it can change the pH of the soil. This is one of those instances where a little goes a long way. So I would say my recommendation: ornamental plants, small garden, yes, large square footage, row garden, it's going to be expensive.
Unless you make it yourself.
You can make your own biochar using lump charcoal. Like you can get the all natural lump charcoal, and you can mash it up in a 5-gallon bucket and soak in whatever fertilizer you want to use, fish emulsion or whatever you want. And basically, charcoal is like a sponge. It's so porous, it soaks up whatever you put it into. So if you get that and you grind that and you sort of mash that up, you can spread that out throughout your garden, and it's going to slow release fertilizer over a long period of time.
Have you ever done a video specifically about making?
I have done that video. I have made that video.
Good. Because I've done a video on making like compost tea. And so if you ever want to know how to make compost tea, go back to my catalog. I have some of the best things I like to use on how to make compost tea. But yeah, for that biochar or charcoal, definitely check out Andre's video so you can see the whole step process. Or just add extensions too.
Now, one thing that we probably should have done at the beginning is I feel like we need to get into NPK. Because a lot of times when we shout out those numbers, we say, "Oh, get a 3-2-1," right? Like people are like, "What?" you know. So the NPK, your nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and that's the ratios that they're in. And what is the importance of that? So when you see a fertilizer, like what makes you choose like a 10-10-10 versus a 3-2-2 or something like that?
NPK, what that is these are the nutrients that you need in order to have the basic essentials for your plants to survive. Nitrogen is for proteins and RNA and DNA, I believe. The phosphorus is for different. The potassium is for, I had this remembered because I didn't know we were going to go into this, but I had this remembered for another video I did. The potassium is for different enzymatic reactions that the plants need in order to survive. And the potassium, I already said that. And the phosphorus is for, I think, other building blocks of the plants for like it to photosynthesize and stuff. So these nutrients are like hella important. The most hella important of the 17 nutrients that plants need. And how we know those numbers is basically just over time. People have just said like this works best for these crops, right? But that doesn't mean that you can't go lower or higher. It's just you have to be, careful and cautious.
So now to break this down to length when it comes to NPK, nitrogen, think of your foliage, okay? Now, granted, Derek is 100% right talking about protein, so forth. A lot of people, nitrogen, you're looking at your foliage.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about the phosphorus, you're talking about your root flowers and fruits. When you're flowering, when you're fruiting, when you're trying to get development, that's your phosphorus. And then your potassium is your overall plant resilience and overall growth. So if you have a little sickly plant, you might not have potassium. But phosphorus, you're talking about the only way you're going to know that is when you're flowering, when you're fruiting, when you're trying to get development, as phosphorus. And then your say, hey, let's fertilize this plant. One of the first things you're going to do is have a soil test to know what your starting date is. Because if you don't know where you're starting, how can you add effectively?
That's true. We got a couple questions on here. Someone asked about pine needles. They said they put pine needles in their soil mix and they put it in the ground with their plants. And I think I know what you guys are going to say about that. But what do you guys think?
So what are they trying to do with the pine needles? What's their goal?
I don't think they're necessarily trying to lower their pH with it, but I think that they're just trying to add more organic matter.
Okay. Well, Derek, do you want to speak on that first? Well, I'm going to say any organic matter that you add into your soil, the first and foremost thing you want to do is you want to break it up. Break it up into the smallest particles possible. Because what happens when you don't break that organic matter up, especially if you're planting plants there, your soil, the microbes in your soil, is going to try to break that material down to organic matter. Because in all earnestness, in true organic soil, organic matter is 5% of the equation. And I can pull it up. I was going to add this page bookmark. It's only like 5% of the whole equation as far as soil goes. So if you're adding all the organic matter, your soil is going to try to decompose all that organic matter. And what's going to happen in earth is your plant's not going to get that. So it's going to take I jumped up at myself. I got excited. It's going to lock up the nitrogen in your soil. Because the microbes using nitrogen is a need breakdown all that organic matter. So you're going to get called nitrogen lockout. Your plant is not going to get any of that nitrogen. It's going to be all breaking out all that organic matter. So that's a term. Look that up. Nitrogen lockout. That's what that's called.
Now, Urban Farmista said there's 21 macronutrients that the plant needs and micronutrients. And yeah, we understand that NPK are not the only things that plants need. There are lots of other nutrients, macro and micro, that plants need. I don't think that anyone was trying to imply that you just need 3 things and that's it.
Mm-hmm. She was just trying to be help. She was assisting us in help, and that is Nadia.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Now, someone else had a question about, they said they had a liquid citrus fertilizer, and the instructions were for them to fertilize every 2 weeks their tree with it. And I can comment on this one, because if you're in Florida, that may be something that is being done to combat the citrus greening, because the citrus greening disease here in Florida basically decreases the citrus tree's ability to absorb any nutrients, and then your trees slowly starve to death. And one of the ways that it can be sort of, it's not really combating, it's kind of just keeping your tree on life support, is to constantly feed the tree because it can't feed itself. And a foliar feed, feeding through the leaves, is a way that they can absorb it sometimes better than they can from the roots because of the citrus greening disease. And there's no cure for the disease yet. Even the citrus industry doesn't have a cure for it, but they have developed a GMO tree. CRISPR or whatever has developed a tree that they've started that is immune to the citrus green disease, an orange tree, and that is supposed to be coming out or being made available relatively soon.
We love to see it.
Huh?
I'm saying, wow, they use CRISPR to essentially genetically modify that?
Yes, that's what I've been told. I have a friend who's an executive at an orange company, orange juice company, and I thought that they had a commercial cure for citrus greening, but they don't have a cure.
Yeah. But see, that's cool. I mean, because I know a lot of times, a lot of folks like to say the baby out with the bathwater. But that's a great reason to use genetic modification. Because Florida, Florida's known for their citrus. And the
not anymore.
Very low citrus now is like heartbreaking. So that's a great genetic modification.
And CRISPR in general is just a great thing to use, because when I hear CRISPR, I think of like making my food, like the steak I cooked earlier today, CRISPR. And when I cooked this steak and when I had this salmon, I ended up using some pepper sauce. It was the most amazing thing in the world on my food. Now, Andre's pepper sauce, he has the hot and the not so hot, the sweet, right? That is delicious. Now, I ain't not tried the hot yet, because the sweet, I've been finishing off my bottle. And I'm doing one of these numbers. I'm hitting the bottle, hoping that more just magically pops out. And it's not. But this stuff is delicious. Now, it is made out of all natural ingredients, right? Things that you can pronounce for those of you who are, I guess, so enthralled. And this stuff is delicious. You can get it off of AndreTheFarmer.com and on Amazon, right?
Yes, you can get it on Amazon.
Yes. You cannot get this on Walmart, but if Walmart calls and they want to start selling this, they did get you some hot pepper sauce today.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I guarantee you're going to love it. It's absolutely separate everything. Stop the Cap. California has always led in citrus. Well, I'm not sure what the numbers are, but Florida has been known as this like orange state, but they just now it's just collapsed completely. So no one's really in a competition as to which state produces more. Because I'll tell you what, I have no allegiance to either, so I don't really care. But I've been saying that the whole industry in Florida has collapsed. You know, I've seen farms where they used to produce 50 crates of oranges a year. They're producing 2 now. It's definitely changed a lot. So they are spending a lot of money for it, and they're not turning a profit anymore by doing that.
But hey, that California person, sorry, I gotta back them up. I live in Camarillo, California. I was switching up. I lived in Camarillo, California for like 2 years. And I'm gonna say, I lived right next to an orange orchard, and it was amazing. Yeah, it was a bunch of orange trees out there. I mean, just feel. It was amazing.
Well, people used to talk about how they used to, like, certain time of year, they would go to school and all you would smell is orange blossoms just everywhere. You just smell the orange blossom in the air, and it's just not a thing anymore here in Florida. So let's see. What fertilizer do you recommend that has all the nutrients you're talking about? Can you use the same fertilizer for plants, fruits, and veggies? You guys have a fertilizer that you use?
Go for it, Jerry.
The last thing I was gonna start with the last question is yes, you can use the same fertilizer for everything. You don't have to like change it up. So I am an Arbor ambassador. I use their liquid. They have a granular fertilizer. I lost it and found it when I was cleaning up the second bedroom. Amazing. I also use Espoma. I use like anything I can get my hands on. I worked in the industry for some time, so I have like micronutrient hidden in here. I just use whatever I can get, but you don't need like every nutrient in all levels for every plant. So like any fertilizer that you can get your hands on, whether it's that little blue miracle or whatever, it's going to work.
Now, do you guys have any? Now, I know there's a lot of hate out there for Miracle-Gro, and I guarantee there will be comments of hate rolling up here.
I'm sure.
What are your guys' thoughts on Miracle-Gro?
I'm gonna say it like this. I've used it in the past. I've used synthetic fertilizer in the past because I think that's one of the things that we talked about before is that some folks are like, only organic. But when it comes to fertilizer, you have to take into consideration everybody's growing situation may be different, right? So I'm out here in Texas. Derek is North Carolina. Most of us, all three of us here, we have long season growing. We grow all the way to like October or November. But what if we have somebody who's living up in May? What if we have somebody who's living in Alaska when they only have like 3-month window to be able to grow as much produce as they possibly can before the window is closed? Synthetic fertilizer developed by man is a nice option. I mean, it's something that's really recommended for your plant and might not be in a situation. Now, as far as corporations, I do have feelings about corporations, but as far as the fertilizer itself, I think it's synthesized when you need. That's my opinion.
And I mean, like the food industry wouldn't be what it is without synthetic fertilizers. Like we don't feed everybody because we don't make enough food in general. There's a number, like some number where they could say like this is when we stop making enough food to feed everybody. So there's always like an under, right? But synthetic fertilizers keeps us closer than we would be without. And while Miracle-Gro, again, the industry, the company, the background, the people it's connected to, man, for me, this stuff is cheap. I can mix it with all the other things I do, and it's immediate. And this is something that, again, for those of you who are just getting into gardening, and those of you who are financially insecure, you spend $15 on that, you have about a year's worth of fertilizer, a couple months to a year's worth of fertilizer. That's a deal.
And I feel like too many times, like people that are sort of disparaging the things that most people could use or could afford to use are doing it from a place of privilege, where, yeah, they can afford to like go buy, a 50-pound, 8-ounce bag of magic fertilizer for their plants, right? So Jason, you're killing your plants. Miracle-Gro isn't killing them. Oh, you're killing your plants. It's not the Miracle-Gro that's killing them. You're killing. It's not the Miracle-Gro.
Yeah. Because the thing about this liquid, and this is a real quick aside, a liquid is concentrated, right? So in the same way that you would not want to like put a concentrate of anything like a bleach onto your clothes, but you water it down. You want to water this down and follow the instructions. My aunt and them got themselves in a tizzy. I used to get them free plants from NC State that I would get. They took Miracle Grow, and I just assumed put a drop of water on it and choked their plants out and killed them all. So be careful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me just say one thing about citrus green disease, because someone mentioned how
Yes.
citrus diseases in California too. They do not have citrus greening over there yet. Citrus greening is uniquely in the state of Florida currently, and they're trying to keep it there. Even when fruit gets exported from Florida, if it's oranges or citrus, it has to be like disinfected or sterilized or whatever in order for them to even ship it out of this state. They have moratoriums on bringing the trees in here or trees out of Florida as well. They're really trying to keep it localized in the state of Florida, and California doesn't have it. If it gets to California, the California citrus industry will be wiped out.
And the only reason California is the leader right now is because of citrus greening in Florida. Because until 2014, Florida was the lead. I looked it up earlier, but since we jumped back to it, you were right in your earlier recitation. It was never always California, but keep going.
All right, thank you for that factual update. Greetings from New Orleans. We have tomato virus in Australia. And I'll tell you what, we have a lychee mite. Lychee mite is a new pest that's here in Florida right now. And I just had a bout of that with my lychee trees, and I had to basically defoliate them completely and prune them back super hard, and then dust them with some sulfur, and they're growing back now, and hopefully they'll bounce back. But yeah, these things can kind of come and go, and someone mentioned monoculture. And yeah, monoculture farming is definitely a problem because orange tree citrus was a big thing in Florida and was probably the only thing in Florida. Hey, did you guys know that Central Florida was the celery capital of the world at one point?
Ooh,
I did not know that.
I need to go there because I love me some celery.
Really? Sanford, Florida, which is like 20 minutes from here, or all right, 30 minutes from here, was the celery capital of the world at one point.
Lord, you need to go out there and get me some celery, man.
I'll tell you what, and if you're getting celery and you want to chop it up, you got to use your tools, right?
You do it. I dropped mine, so I hope y'all got yours. I knocked it over earlier because you want to retain your plants and be able to keep them. Now, this retain is going to lubricate, it's going to sanitize your tools, it's going to keep them in a good, clean state, it's going to disinfect them, and everything else you need to get you some retain today. Andre makes so many cuts. Talk about that cuts.
I'll tell you what, I grafted 7 or 8 grafts onto an avocado tree today. I did what's called top working. I took all the branches off a young avocado and I grafted 4 different types of avocado onto it. So I've got a bunch of grafts I did, and I had my retain in my bag, and I sprayed in between to make sure that I don't carry any diseases from one tree to the next. Make sure there's not a lot of bacteria on my thing. So I spray the retain, and ideally you should have a rag with you so you can wipe it off. But I just use my shirt, wipe off. In between every cut, spraying the retain. It's all natural, and it disinfects and lubricates your plant as well. Oh, it's available on Amazon now too. So Amazon, Walmart.com, and I believe
Retain Spray. Is it, or is it retain.com? I thought it was Retain Spray.
Spray.com. You got it.
There we go. I remember. So make sure y'all get y'all something today. What you got, Gray?
And you know what's interesting? Earlier, Andre, you asked me what I did, and I couldn't remember. Now I remember. That helped me remember. I did some earlier, and I used my grafting knife to cut back that bark, and I actually sprayed my retain in between each cut. Thank you, Bill. I forgot that I did that earlier.
This is the coolest thing. This is really bubbling and foaming. I really love this. What other questions you got?
So someone asked about bone meal. What is your insight into bone meal? Is it worth buying?
If you need bone meal is phosphorus, and I think that helps with flowers. Is that right, Greg?
That's
Fruit and flowers?
And root development.
Root development. If you get it, I mean, it's not something bad. I have some that I've probably had now for 7 or 8 years. I probably used it one time because I was like, I'm getting everything. In most cases, unless you're doing like specialty crops or you're growing like a lot of stuff in a big way or agriculturally, you don't really need it.
Yeah. Well, see, I do use phosphorus in bone meal. But specifically with my plumeria, when I'm trying to get my blooming going on plumeria or strawberries, when I'm trying to get blooming and fruit going on, I will sprinkle a little bit of bone meal in there just to get that little phosphorus. Again, phosphorus is not something that you're holding in your soil, but specifically when I'm going through flowers, I will add a little bit of bone meal. But I will say one caveat is that it is grinding up bone. So that will fight all the critters. Your milkshake will bring all the critters because your garden's going to be better than yours.
And see, he can teach you, but he has to charge.
Let me dig up stray dogs, what have you.
All right. Let's see. Someone asked a question here. Earthworm castings help their plants grow bigger. Yep, I'm all in with that.
Yeah, it's pretty much like compost. It's poop, so that works.
How do you rapid firing some of these here? How do you jumpstart a compost pile?
You can get like a liquid that actually will do that. I have one here from Tinkashi. You know, Tinkashi. So it's literally these bacteria that you would use, the bacillus strains that you would typically see in compost, and you can like make a watered down solution, put a little molasses with it if you want to, maybe you do, maybe you don't. And you water your compost, and then it helps to basically start it up, because one half of compost is like organisms that are macro, like worms and insects and little rodents and little things like that, right? And then the other part is like bacteria, but if you get the bacteria started, everything else should be good.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you said you can add that molasses to that, because the molasses will be a source for those microorganisms. Thanks for that.
Yeah, and I mean, this already has a little in there, but you know, you can always add more.
So Monty Hawley says, one orange to another taste different when homegrown and in different soil and management. The majority of people are eating supermarket oranges that look, feel, smell, and taste strange. Well, I'll tell you what, to people that have only eaten supermarket oranges, they don't taste strange or feel strange or look strange. They all taste like the oranges that they've had their entire lives. Now, most of the time, from my experience with the fruits that I grow, the difference from a supermarket one and the ones in the store are typically going to be the varieties. The varieties you grow at home are going to be different than the varieties that are available in the supermarket for a number of reasons. Sometimes because they don't ship as well, they don't produce as well, they're just not economic. Also, they're often picked before they're ripe because they have to sit on a shelf for a long period of time. But it's not like these are some evil or bad fruits in the store. The fruits in the store are perfectly fine. I never want to discourage anyone from eating fruits and vegetables. Eat your fruits and vegetables from your store wherever you get them, whether it's Walmart or Whole Foods, wherever you get them from, or your local market. Eat fruits and vegetables. There are no bad fruits and vegetables on the planet.
And you know what? I'm going to say this. Because you guys know that I grow a lot of strawberries, right? Love strawberries. Kids love my strawberries. One thing I will say that I know is the difference between store-bought versus the ones out grown. My organic ones out grown don't stay as long. Like the kids pretty much have to eat them right in there or on going freeze because they're going to overripe almost immediately after the ball from the
Right. And that's why those varieties will never be commercial because they just can't be shipped. They won't last, and no one's going to buy them.
Exactly.
Oh, do either of you do any of us do companion planting? Oh, I love companion planting.
Companion planting, that's easy.
I don't have the space. You know, they got acres. I don't have that yet.
Oh, but you know what, guys? Before we get to the question, we have another sponsor.
I was going to ask you, you know, because your companion planting, you know, it needs to thrive, right?
Companion plants, all of your plants need to thrive.
So with that
being said, today I want to tell you about Thrive Roots. And it's a perfect time to talk about Thrive Roots because guess what? It is not a fertilizer. Thrive Roots is not.
I didn't know about I know my bottle is. outside.
It's not a fertilizer. It's an organic root and soil booster. It's in a soil amendment. So you can use this Thrive Roots to boost your soil, and you can use it in comparison to any of the fertilizers that you're going to use.
I love dry roots and Derek, how does it smell? Oh, 100%.
Let, let me tell y'all, I went to my mailbox after the last live. He told me to check my mail. And when I opened my mailbox, it was a fragrance party all in my nostrils. I was like, what is happening? I thought somebody was following me because I'm always paranoid, but it was this. Through the package, and it's not even opened, I can smell it. It smells fantastic.
Yes, 100% organic, and it's fantastic. It's a great tool for certain swollen people. Definitely check out dryroots.com, or just go to Dry Roots Squad on Instagram. Check out so you can get some for yourself.
Well, I haven't tried it yet, but I am looking forward to trying it. I'm going to put some in my garden here, and I'm going to take some down to Mexico and put some in the garden over there as well. I'm really excited about it. It seems like an amazing product, and I can't wait to see the results.
You know what's interesting, Andre? I just realized, Derek, do you realize that just about everything that we have as far as our sponsors are all these natural ingredients or organic? Like we managed to go in that direction, right?
Yeah.
Naturally.
And it hasn't been intentional. It just happened.
It happened organically.
It happened organically. Like, you know, I don't know. Should we make a rule that we're only going to sponsor things that are organic going forward? I don't know. No, they're like, no. We're not going to put any handcuffs on ourselves here. We are accepting sponsors. We expect all comers. All comers will accept. But no. Only thing that we actually endorse. It has to be something that we actually think is useful and think is actually a good product for you guys to use. We are not accepting all comers, but it has to be something that is useful. But it doesn't have to be completely organic.
Because, you know, it's funny you say that, Andre. You know, I've had companies reach out to me about makeup. And I'm like, are they trying to tell me something? Do I need to put makeup on screen? Like, you do realize I make garden content. They're trying to say something.
Listen, I get probably at least 10 emails a day on sponsorship deals, and I ignore all of them. Like, I literally ignore all of them because they're all just things that are not related to what I do. And for me, now it's all about the pepper sauce. It's all about the show. It's all about, you know, the brand, but it's not about sort of other people's stuff unless I find that one thing that's just amazing, like you found with Thrive Roots. Derek, you'll find something that's amazing. Right now, for me, it's my pepper sauce, you know, and that's my thing. So I don't really want to be selling a bunch of other people's stuff too much, and you know, so that's how I feel about it. And right now, I just like giving out the information and educating people and showing people, you know, how we do things and how they can possibly do things as well.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's all about helping. So if it's not something that's going to help people, you know, no, that's the next person, you know.
Exactly. But thank you guys for watching. We are just about out of time. Do we have any closing statements, guys? Anything you want to tell people before you go?
It has been amazing speaking with you as always. Talk to you again real soon.
Derek?
Banana water is not fertilizer, and I don't care what you people say. Next.
Okay, as a former banana water believer, I agree with Derek at this point in time. It is not a thing. It's not a thing. But anyways, guys, we'll see you next week. Thank you for watching. We'll be back here next Monday. The Dirt on Gardening podcast, 8 p.m. Eastern time every Monday night. All right. Catch the replays on Instagram and YouTube.